Energy requirements, massive. Emissions, zero. Which makes this sport a good fit for Nissan, given the automaker's commitment to sustainable energy policies. The Nissan brand is now co-title sponsor of a 30-rider professional cycling team that is gearing up to compete around the world, building on a successful partnership that began 2 years ago.
Last season, they basically won all 3 of the big races in the US. So we're seeing viewing figures on TV increasing, but also I would point out just the number of spectators who are now turning out to these events. And on top of that, of course, it's also pretty clear that cycling as a way of keeping fit in America is also gaining in popularity.
Nissan has a record of interest in health, fitness, and sporting events. Now the Radio Shack Nissan Trek cycling team expands the association with professional cycling around the world over a grueling 9-month cycling season, beginning with the Australian Tour last month, in which Radio Shack Nissan Trek placed first in team classification.
Our vehicles, motor vehicles, are embedded really in the sport itself. There are very few other sporting events where a vehicle is part of the action.
It's a marketing investment, of course. 40 million fans attended live cycling events around the world last year. But team riders say that given the level of involvement and interest they see from Nissan personnel, it's more than that.
They're doing a lot of things with like Tour Colorado and Tour California and those races, and I think they have a really strong interest in the best for the team.
For most Americans, a bicycle was the first vehicle they ever owned, and more people around the world ride than drive, though not at this rarefied level.
By involving ourselves in cycling, we're speaking to consumers at different levels. It's a sport that they can themselves participate in at a level that is appropriate to their own ability. But also I think they can get excited by the demands it places on the athletes. And I think we can leverage some of the innovations that are happening in the sport. At the end of the day, you know, Nissan is all about innovation. There is a very good fit with the Nissan brand.
As the pro cycling season heads towards July with the Tour de France, with endless miles of training and racing between now and then, Radio Shack Nissan Trek already looks to be among the favorites.
And I think we have a real good chance of having one of our riders on the podium this year. We have the Spring Classics as well. And here in the US, we want again to repeat the success we enjoyed last season, especially the Tour of California. Chris Horner won that race last season. The intention is really to try and engage consumers, not just on the individual races, but through our website, through other communication for the whole season.
Radio Shack Nissan Trek, a team working in the present, building for the future.